Good morning, misfits. Or good whatever time of day you're watching. I've been thinking about this. Why did Lucy get targeted? I got quite far with making a video all about it, but it's taken me down some rabbit holes and it's brought me back to what the hell happened to me in my childhood. And how can I heal from it? And I'm coming with this idea at the moment. They can't control our reality. I'm calling it inner non-compliance. And I think that is what I have, inner non-compliance. And that's what Lucy has. She stayed true throughout. And that made her a threat to someone like the person whose statement I analysed recently. So I've been on a annoying journey recently. It's annoying because it's been a roller coaster, and I hate roller coasters. I like predictability and stability. So I had an up and then I had a bit of a down, and I'm not up again yet, really. What or who allowed it to realise? So what I'm referring to here is... Sorry, I can't get a good angle on that. Let's just try and get a tree instead. I'd gone to see my mum one day, and that's a story in and of itself. I went to a gorgeous park in Yorkshire called Cliff Castle Gardens. And I really wanted to express a lot of things. I felt desperate to, and I couldn't. It just didn't become clear to me. And then I shared that on the consortium group, saying, what happens to the parts we can't express? Do they die with us? And to me it was sort of nothing. Okay, just post that. Because I'm desperate to just share something and try and make a connection from myself to other humans. And then I had a lot of really helpful answers and responses and supportive replies from the group, and then Mark made a video replying to that question that I posed. And it had such a big impact on me to go through that process overnight, that day and overnight, that I became in my body for the first time in my life. I wasn't dissociated for the first time in my life. And my children noticed the difference, and my daughter was coming up to me, touching my body, going, "Can you feel that?" And I was going, "Yeah, I can feel it." We were celebrating it, and it was great. And I assumed it was a permanent state, but then unfortunately it wasn't. So the next question is what or who shut it down? Oh yeah, so what allowed it to realise, I would say, recognising that those expressions, whether or not they're shared, have value, and that they had been heard, and it landed, if you see what I mean. So then what shut it down again? I had this comment on my statement analysis video. Your content is worth the effort, so thanks, but your presentation leaves a lot to be desired, I'm afraid. You need to be better. This is the language of control. It switched me off. It sent me, I guess, back into fear, because I am ruled by fear. I always have been. And telling me what I need to do. You need to be better prepared to present in this way. That brought up some shame in me, although it didn't sort of go deep, but it just shut me off. Because basically this language of control is something that I grew up with, and it's probably one of the main reasons that I don't have a connection to myself in my body. And the person, by the way, said, "I'm afraid," which is interesting, because in statement analysis, that means they are actually afraid. You need to be better prepared to present in this way with no images or text that we can decipher. I'm really sorry. So many things, ums and ums. It was hard to understand if it's you or the video you're using. Now this last bit was really disgusting. Sorry to the poster. There's so much excellent stuff on Lucy Letby on Yui. They made some kind of typo. Really need to up your game. It's not a game. This is Lucy Letby's life. She's in prison. It's not a game. I have something to share. I have some knowledge and experience, and I shared it, and I talked about that paediatrician's words, and I've been studying statement analysis in my spare time for a year, so that's my preparation, and I'm not the best at it's not even that I'm not good at presenting, it's just that I can't do that as well. I'm just one person, and it hurt me so much, and I just disappeared from myself, so I didn't have that embodiment that I'd had for the first time. So now, what's happened since then? I've got a specific GTP for someone that has experience being scapegoated, and I have. So I've bought that thing. It's from Blake Anderson. I recommend it to anyone who's gone through smear campaigns and has the sort of experience I do where I don't have a self yet. So one of my answers, if your self, from the ChatGTP that I'm using, sovereign scapegoat, I don't know what sovereign means. If your sense of self never got to fully form, then big outward boundaries may feel impossible right now. Your system is still trying to establish I am here, I am separate, I am allowed to exist. Because this is what I'm trying to say when I'm talking about being dissociated. I don't know this. I can't point, and it'll unfocus again. I am here, I am separate, I am allowed to exist. I am trying to sort of like embody that because that's not clear to me yet, even though it makes logical sense. So start there, protection of the small emerging self. The reason it's got a capital S is that I've just found out the basics of parts work, and I watched an introductory video about it a couple of days ago, and then I found out that I do have a self. So the difference is that I'm not able to embody it in my, well, it's not in my body. I have a self, I can't embody it till it has confirmation from other, which is what happened when I made that expression and Mark and other people responded to that. That's one too. Very small internal boundaries might be I will not force myself, I will go slowly. Because the thing is, people don't realise if they don't have my experience, I don't go for a wee. I don't eat. I don't rest. I'm like constantly switched on of like what I'm supposed to be doing and trying to be productive, and I'm really in that yang energy, and I've always been in, and it gets worse and worse. So I'm not okay. I've never been okay, but it gets worse. So these are the kind of small things. I will not force myself because I have a lot of internal pressure on myself. I will go slowly. I will not shame myself for being overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed most of the time. I will stop when my system says too much. I will not abandon myself to meet expectations. In parts work language, you might imagine, there is a self or young part that has never had safe space. The first boundary is protecting that space from pressure. I want to continue this exploration in public, as it were. It doesn't need to be very public, but if one of you replies, then that's good enough, kind of thing. I don't want to do this alone. It's glorified to do things alone and to be independent. Well, actually I can't, and whenever I do things independently and I'm doing things alone, like I have been over the last couple of years, that's me spiralling, because I'm not okay. I'm less and less okay when I go into that pattern of over-functioning, and from the outside people tell me, they basically admire it. They want, do they want me to not exist and to just over-function? It's just a really horrible thing to experience that. So that's where I'm up to. And oh, here we go. There's another page. What would help me feel 2% more real right now? more real is a good way to describe it. Then listen for something very small. So I could put my hand on my heart, for example, and then say, what is it? So I did this yesterday. Feels like yonks ago. And I just looked out at the sky. And that was the thing I chose to do. Sit under a blanket, drink water, stop reading, look out the window, rest, write one sentence. Yourself does not need to perform existence before it deserves care. Right, so yeah, I'm not saying this is anything like Lucy Letby, but that's where it came from. It came from this beginning study into why was she targeted, and I've probably lost that page again now. I think one of the reasons I was going to talk about, if I ever get to enough conclusions in my studies here on it, is that she has that self that can't be controlled. She does have that good self. It hasn't been twisted and it hasn't been destroyed, and she has that in her. Respect to Lucy.